Hey, Colin Thomas here. Welcome to another week of Averitt Truckload, where I show you the runs that I do during the week and how much money I make for doing those loads. Today is Sunday. I'm not driving today. I'm going to start tomorrow at about 4 in the morning. But I started videoing now because I already know my loads, and those are like from Knoxville, where I always start because that's my home. So from the Knoxville Service Center down to Cleveland, Tennessee is going to be about 80 miles. I'm going to have to be there by 6 in the morning, so I'm going to probably be doing my pre-trip and all that at like 4 a.m. just to make sure I get there on time. And then from there, I'm going to go to Jasper, Tennessee, which you hook around Chattanooga. That's going to be about, I think it's like 50 miles of an empty move. And then from there, I'm going to go up to Roanoke. And I'm going to have to be there on Tuesday at some time. So I also know there's a service center in Roanoke. I'm going to plan on probably spending the night there if I can. I know that that's all going to add up to about 540, 550 miles that I'd have to do tomorrow to finish in order to get there. But anyway, that's my goal for tomorrow. For Monday, I want to end in Roanoke. So it's Monday, it's going on noon, so I've already done those drops that I mentioned to you yesterday. I am going from here, not to Roanoke, as I mentioned. That's going to be the final stop. I found out when I got up this morning and looked at my messages that I'm going to have two additional stops on this run, which is good for me because additional stops pay $100. You might have seen that in one of my other videos where I went to Mississippi. So yeah, I mean, 200 extra bucks is great. It's going to end up taking me, I think, all of Monday and all of Tuesday to get it all done. So that means that the load that I did this morning is going to pay $50. It was 80 miles or so, which counts as a $50 load. It's like a local load. Nothing pays less than that, $50. So that's one load. Then the next thing is if you add the empty 55 miles plus the 531 load miles to Roanoke, that's going to add up to 586 or whatever. So it's going to be that's going to be my mileage, and then they're going to throw $200 on top of that for the extra stops. As I said in my other video, like that, where this occurred, that those two additional stops are kind of the equivalent of an extra 435 miles. So if you want to imagine it that way, it's like 580, let's say 585 miles plus 435 miles comes up to like about 1,020 miles for 2 days, which is, you know, that's a decent average that you want to be at. So I'm happy with that for Monday and Tuesday. And the first stop will be in Hickory, North Carolina. The second stop in Greensboro, North Carolina. So that means that tonight, I think I'll spend the night in Hickory, where you can see here on the middle of this list that there is a service center. That'll give me a place to not worry about finding a parking spot and stuff like that. And then the delivery will be in the morning at 7:30, and then Greensboro will be at 9:30, and then the next one I'm not sure yet. I got past Asheville, but I didn't make it to Hickory, so this is where I'm staying tonight, at this North Carolina rest stop. The reason I didn't make it is because I had sort of forgotten that I started so early in the morning, you know, about 4:45 or whatever. So that means that it's I had to stop by like 6:45 for the night, and that wasn't enough to get me there. So this is where I spent the night last night. After I finished those stops yesterday, I had about 3 hours left on my clock, but my load doesn't pick up until today at between 4 and 5 here in Roanoke. So that means that I'm gonna have about 23 hours of off-duty time, and there's a chance, when this happened to me 2 weeks ago, I got $200 of layover pay. So I've already sent that request in, and I'm hoping that's going to go through. I think technically the way I've heard it works is that you have to be down for 24 hours before you get that pay. In any case, last time it was basically like this, you know, it was like down for 23 and a half, and I got the pay, $200, because you know, it's no fun to sit if you're not getting paid, but if you're, you know, gonna get paid, then actually I'm not gonna complain about sitting. So anyway, I'm here in Roanoke, and that's the airport right behind me. So it's actually not a bad place to sit. There's a Kroger nearby, which is walkable, and a whole bunch of other type stores like that. I don't think I'm going to go though. I'm just going to spend my time here. And I think I'm going to show you a little bit of this service center, which I filmed last time I was here. I'll use that footage that I filmed last time, because this is, from what I've heard and from what I've seen, the nicest service center Averitt has. Still here in Roanoke at the service center. I got about 2 more hours or so until I do my pickup. It's gonna be at between 4 and 5 o'clock. I'm thinking that if I pick it up by 6, that you know, I mean, if it's done loading and everything by 6, then that's gonna mean that I've got about with a 9 o'clock delivery time, I've got 9 hours plus between 6 and 12, so there's another 6, so it's about 15 hours. So it's really barely any time to get it there on time, including the 10-hour break, unless you can park at the facility, which I don't think I can, because I did a Google satellite of it and it doesn't look like the kind of place I'll be able to park. I might have to do an 8 and 2 split, so that's okay with me if that's how it turns out. Either way, it's going to be you know, running kind of tight, which is fine. I'll get it. You know, I think I'll get it done. Also wanted to mention that I got that 200 layover for sitting here for real close to 24 hours. So that's great news, of course, you know, perfect. So I'm here doing my pickup in Roanoke. Can't really tell I'm doing it because of the field behind me, but I'll show you where I am in a second. I'm going 280 miles from here to Gray Court, South Carolina, which is near Greenville. So, and I did 0 miles to get here. Well, actually, I did like 15 miles, which you can see here on this screen. You can see the route that I took. Here you can also see the route that I'm taking to Gray Court. In any case, that 15 miles counts as 0 because it's a Roanoke to Roanoke move, which, you know, I think it's called hub miles, but that pays 0. Then you get the 280 to the next place. That's due 9 in the morning tomorrow. But as I've said in many of my videos before, because this comes up all the time, unlike layover pay, which has only come up twice in my year-long Averitt career, this comes up a lot. So this is less than 400 miles. I pick it up, I deliver it. So this is a $400, that'd be nice. 400 mile minimum load. So that's what I'll get paid, despite the fact that it's only, in actuality, about 300. So this is Gray Court, South Carolina. I did the 8 and 2 split, so I got it here actually just after 9 o'clock, but they unloaded me pretty quick anyway. I'm going to see if I can do the rest of my 2 hours down here. There's a staging area over there. And then at 2 o'clock, I have to pick up, which is almost 4 hours from now, here in Greenville, and take it up to, I forget the name of the city, but it's up near Youngstown and Akron in northern Ohio, which is a pretty long trip. It's about 600 miles, and that's going to deliver tomorrow, Friday, at about 3 or 4, I believe, or it might be 2 or 3. In any case, that's a long trip, you know, you know, considering the fact that we're, you know, really towards the end of the week, I might just have gotten sent home as well, you know, but that's not happening. I'm kind of glad because it's turning into a big money week, which is I like. Couldn't do my 2 hour of the 8 and 2 split over there at the receiver because they wouldn't allow me to stay on their property. I tried and they called me and told me I needed to leave. So I stayed here at this Sphinx. That worked out. There's barely a parking spot to squeeze into, but you know, nobody made me leave. So I started thinking, I haven't picked up my load yet going up to Ohio. The town is called Girard and it's right next to Youngstown. I haven't picked it up yet, but I've thought about how it's going to go a lot. So it picks up now at 2 o'clock, very soon at 2 o'clock, and delivers tomorrow. You can see here between 1 and 5. You can see that the empty miles you'll get are 25 and the loaded miles are 578, so that's going to add up to 630 paid miles for the trip. Trip's actually a bit longer than that, you know, as often happens in trucking, and you've seen in my videos often happens. So it took me about 15 miles to get here. You can see here the route I took to get here, and then it's going to take me, I've got these 3 route choices you can see here. I've got the one that's like further left, which I won't take because I know that's going to take longer, and then I've got the one that's further right, which you can see highlighted here. I'm not going to take that one either because they're longer. So I'm going to take the suggested one, which goes straight up, and here it's 608 miles, but then I've taken this route before, so I know it pretty well. I know it's hilly in Virginia. That part's going to be West Virginia. That part's going to be rough and take a while, especially if I'm heavy. But I also know that these roads that you see here are not good, so I won't end up taking these roads. I've taken them before, and they're not fun at all to take. So I'm going to follow my truck GPS, and this is what my truck GPS looks like. It's going to head up much closer to Akron, and then over on 76 and 80 to my final destination. That's going to be like 619 miles, and 619 miles in about 25 hours is just about the max of what you can do. It's 10 o'clock and there's a ton of space here, which is great news. I've been in West Virginia before, like at Tamarack, up the road a little bit, and you have to really squeeze to get in there late at night, so I was expecting it to be hard tonight. And the truck stops too get overloaded, but this is wonderful. I don't know if you can see all that empty space behind me, but there's still plenty of room here for anybody who wants to come. I love these service stations too, and rest stops in general, because you don't have to back in, and they just seem less hectic than the truck stops in general. And I'm on track to make more money than I've ever made at Averitt in a week, so I'm on track to make about $1,400. The most I've ever made was $1,378, and my average, I've said many times in many places, is $1,091. That's over 24 weeks in 2018, and my current rate of pay, 46 cents. But it's definitely nice to have an above average week. So I got here before 3 o'clock as I needed to, despite really heavy traffic yesterday that I didn't mention last night when I talked to you in North Carolina, that held me up for like a good hour or two of like dead stop. In any case, the important thing for me is I got here on time. I'm getting unloaded now, and then I know that after this I'm going down to Chillicothe, Ohio, where I've been before, and I've even had it in a video. So I'm going down there, and from there to the service center in Knoxville, so home for me. I know that that's going to be 603 total miles, including the empty move, which is a big one, over 200 miles from here down to there. This is what it looks like. You can see right here the route. So yeah, over 200 miles of empty. That pays the same rate as loaded miles. So 603 miles down there, which is going to get, you know, it's a big week. It's, you know, like I said before, en route to, you know, like 1,400 plus bucks. Still en route to that. Not sure what time I'll be home tomorrow, but sometime on Saturday afternoon. Saturday morning, it's going on 11 o'clock. I slept really late. I guess I was tired at the end of the week. I'm gonna head home now. I've got these few routes that you can see here that I can take. I think I'm gonna take the long one, which is like 369 miles. It's the one that the truck is telling me to take, the truck GPS. That's all interstate, so I know that it's a bit boring, but I know that it's gonna get me there. Unfortunately, it's also the longest because the other routes are like 323 and all that, and this, you know, so, and they might be more scenic. In any case, I think I'm gonna take the long route. Not mess around. So we started on Monday going to Cleveland, Tennessee from Knoxville. That was 83 miles. That would pay $38 if it was just flat mileage, but Averitt pays $50 because it counts as a local load. Then we went from Cleveland to Jasper, on to a stop in Hickory and another additional stop in Greensboro, and then to Roanoke. That paid $55 empty plus $530 loaded miles, for 585 total miles. We got 2 stops, so that was $200 additional there. Roanoke to Gray Court, we got a layover because we were there for about 24 hours. That was 280 miles. That's going to pay 400 miles because that's the minimum amount of loaded miles that can be paid, except for those local miles that I mentioned above, the local loads. So then we go down to Gray Court, South Carolina to Greenville and on to Girard, Ohio. That was 25 empty miles plus 578 loaded, 603 total. Then we went from Girard to Chillicothe, Ohio and on down to Knoxville to get home. So that was 206 empty plus 313 loaded for a total of 519. Total mileage for the week was 2,107 at my 46-cent rate equals $969 for mileage. Then there was the $50 local load plus the $200 layover plus the 2 stops for $200. It ended up being my best week, the best week that I've ever had at Averitt and in trucking. So as I could see as the week was going, that's how it ended up. Definitely a good week for me. My average pay is $1,091. That was for the, you know, final 24 weeks of 2018 at my 46-cent rate. So, you know, you should not expect this number on a weekly basis. Definitely you should expect, well, I'll just tell you what I would expect, which is something along the lines of my average, $1,091.